sort this light out in a second because it's absolutely doing my head in. There you go. That's not right, is it? Honestly. Sorry guys, I'm going to have to sort this out. Is that better? A bit better. Hopefully that's better. Let's start that again. Welcome to the United Devil channel with me, JB. I hope we're all doing really well this evening. Not Brett May. Hello, my friend. I hope we're all doing extremely well. And Renault, who do you think is going to win the league? Yeah, but I'll answer that. It's hard to tell right now. Who do I think is going to win the league? If I was a betting man, I would probably go. It's Liverpool or Arsenal. It might be Arsenal's this year. I think they've got all the hallmarks and well, lads and ladies, Shane, I hope you're doing extremely well. So tonight, just to let you know the flavour of tonight, basically this is a late show where most things go tonight. I do these every so often, just to sort of give you your opportunity. This is not really an opportunity for me as such to even really come back at your opinions tonight. This is your opportunity to vent. I get into the chat. I will read your chats. If this is your first time here, I am not a dictator of this chat. I basically respect your opinions. This is a place you come if you want to air your opinions. We do get a load of I didn't watch the Everton match, I'm afraid. I didn't at all. No, I didn't. I saw Everton were winning 1-0. I think it was. But yeah, let me know of the score in the chat. So, format of this tonight, obviously this is a United fan channel, but we always get some really amazing people in this chat from all different walks of life, all different fans. Here we go. Emmanuel says players can't play the system, then why don't he change it? He's stubborn. He should be sacked. Play the formation that suits a player, so he can show what they got. Use case Ahmad. I was surprised with West Ham. Nunu revolution has begun. Dino Hughes says, crazy how the league looks right now. Exactly, guys. Let's, look, anything goes tonight. I will try and get in all your chats. The more people that watch, the longer that I will continue the stream tonight. But just get in there, guys. This is your show. If you ask me a question, of course I'll try to. But I'm not going to necessarily drive the chat tonight. This is your show. You don't necessarily have to stick to football. These shows tend to veer off on some sort of tangent. So, Emmanuel, mate, I think that's a valid point. It's a really. I'm really struggling right now with Amarin. I want to be Amarin in. I really want this guy to have done well, but I think he's done. Look, Emmanuel, right? If Amarin does what you say, I think he stands a chance. So, I'm of this opinion now where if Amarin wants to survive, which I don't think he will, as you say, I think he needs to do some changes. Crazy how the league looks. No, it's a crazy league. This is one of the years where I think everybody has had to up their game. Ridiculous. Nathan, I will come on to you, my friend. Is that a Brooks trainer in the background? No, it's not. No, it's not. No, Nathan, it's not. Oh, it's awful cold. Signing of the season so far. Oof. That is a Nintendo 64. Just there. It is. Right there. It does work. I just can't get this. So the only way that I can make it work properly is if I get an old school TV. Because every time I try to plug it in, to try to get the signal to come out, because it's only, I think it's 30 hertz or 50 hertz, and this TV is 120 hertz. The signal goes a bit mental. Greatest console of all time, and I will come back to this as well. The greatest console of all time, in my opinion, that's difficult. It's difficult. I've pretty much had them all. I would say, for me personally, my greatest console of all time is probably the Mega Drive. Doesn't mean that it is the greatest console. I mean, I love the NES, Super NES. I love the PS1 when that came out. I love the GameCube. I loved the Dreamcast, which I still got. N64, but for me the Mega Drive was probably the peak of me being a child, and yeah, for me, Mega Drive. For me, let me go back. Signing of the season so far. Oh, that's a tricky one. That's a very, very, very tricky one. I don't know right now. I don't know. That's a very, very tricky one. Let's give it a couple of more games. As I think is tricky. I think probably any signing from Brentford, any signing from Sunderland. I think Sunderland have probably got the best signings. I'd have to look through. But I think Sunderland, Palace, I think any signings from those clubs, and I think, yeah, 100%. Wayne says, I've got you back. Nathan, now it's not a Brooks, my friend. It is that's a Chinese make. So they got sent to me. So that's a Chinese make, and the other one is a Mizuno. Did you hear about Amrin apparently having already tendered his resignation some days ago? Look, Nathan, it wouldn't surprise me, my friend. It wouldn't surprise me. I think right here and now, and again, this is that show. Tell me all of your news. Tell me everything that you've heard, and we can discuss it. It wouldn't surprise me, Nathan. He's basically offered it twice already. Look, Amarin's done, isn't he? You know, if Amarin wants to go, and again, this is a late show. Look, if Amarin wants to go, fuck off. Like, I want him to succeed. But any manager that doesn't want to manage this amazing club and wants to go, I haven't got the balls to do it. See you later. Like, I've got no time for managers. The owners are bad enough. I've got no time for players or the manager who wants to not be here. Do me a favour and fuck off. That is it. If Amrin doesn't want to be here, take your moany and your emotional ways and go away. Do you think Sunderland was that? I do. I think normally most championship teams that come up don't do well. Sunderland, I think it's brilliant for the league. I think it's brilliant. I think these teams that come up, if they can challenge and come up and basically disrupt the order, I think it's brilliant. Is that a Nintendo 64? Yes, it is. Question for you: is top 10 United this season? Dino, no, mate. Look, can they get top 10? Of course they can. Right, from this position, the way the league is, of course they can. But if Amarin stays and it stays how it is, no, my friend. They are in relegation form. Now, do I think they'll go down? No. But if Amarin stays and he doesn't change and Ineos are so blind, it's a possibility. So I think to answer your question, can United finish 10th? Yes. But they need to change something badly and they need to sign more players. So it's going to be hard. Is that a Samsung S9 tablet good enough for basic stuff? Sorry, it is an A9. I can't think which one that is, mate. Look, I've got an iPad that from 2016. 16 that still works now. So look, anything 2020 onwards, mate, you'd be fine. So Kelleher, yeah, a fantastic player. Xbox 360. I had an Xbox 360 as well. I think that was a fantastic console as well. Look, for me, I mean, like, as I got older, so I was well into my 20s when the 360 came out. Now, the original Xbox, amazing. Like, the original Xbox for me was amazing. Halo 2, so many games on that. So many games. VAR wrong or the referees wrong or both. Probably VAR, mate. Probably VAR. Mamadou says, hey, it's your boy Mamadou from Gambia. I hope you're doing extremely well. Brett May fights Shadow this weekend. Brett May fights Shadow this weekend. Don't know. I would play Mario Kart 64 with my toes. I've got up. What's in there at the moment? In there at the moment is FIFA 98. But I do have GoldenEye still. Mario Kart. That's still around somewhere. Inter 86. Amrin doesn't have the players for its system. You need to watch how Gasparini Atalanta playing that formation. Maybe he will learn something. Inter 86, my friend. Welcome to the chat. I sort of think it's too late. Look, can Amrin do something from here? Yes, but Amrin will have to drastically change it. Now, I think I was a bit stubborn the last couple of weeks, but Amrin needs to change something. If Amrin wants to look, I've heard stories, so I'll tell you what I've heard today. Let me get through the chats, and I'll tell you what I've heard today. Xhaka for me, look, Xhaka's been a good signing. I think Henderson as well. Eze, signing of the season, says Wayne. I think Eze's really good signing. Philip says, Philip Rome legend. Excuse me for my English, but it's going from bad to worse to shit. Philip legend. Shane Constantine. Oh my god, I need to. Just give me a second because I need to sort this out. Jesus Christ. That's better. Much better. I just had to clear my nose, and I'm not going to do that live on air. Shane Constantine Isak will end up being his best signing. He's going into my fantasy team ASAP. Yeah, do you know what? I regret that. I regret not doing a fantasy team this season. If we're still around next season, then we'll do one. So you're all welcome to join that. Nathan says, do you think they're trying to negotiate a deal for another manager who is in work, hence the delay? Interesting theory. I think not. Look, the way that it works, right? Everybody knows they go and speak to managers, right? That is how it works. They will go and have these conversations. The problem is that who's going to come in and take on these players? That is the issue, and will they get back? But Nathan, I think, look, I think Ineos are trying to back Amorim. I think the scary thing is that they are trying to back him. Look, I'll give Amorim one more game to change something, and if he doesn't, then for me he's done. So I am trying to give Amorim as much time as I can, but unless he does something and I see a response, again, I'll tell you a story that I found out today. So basically, Amorim now doesn't really talk to the players anymore, doesn't really interact with the players anymore. After training, just sits by himself. He doesn't interact with his players anymore. I think he's done. I really do think he's done. Southgate, Terzic cannot see Glasner leaving Palace. Look, Nathan, agreed with you, mate. Look, if I was Palace, right, why would he leave Palace? Which sounds ridiculous, right? Is why would he leave Palace to come to this shit show? You know, I get it. I get it. On the face of it, right, United are a bigger club than Palace. Right? I know we're in the mud and I know we're not great, right? But imagine if Glasner could come into this side and do something. Like, I just why would he do it now? It doesn't make sense to me. You know, Palace are up there. Will Palace fall away? I hope they don't, but history suggests that Palace do. Like, my other half is from there, you know, or like all of the family support Palace as well. So, you know, I hope they do really well. But Glasner, will his head be turned? I don't know. You know, I don't want to ruin another manager, but someone has to come in here, right? Nathan says Poch. You know, you look at Poch as well. I mean, I think Poch is past it already. But, you know, like, I'm going to ask you a question. Right? We're not going to sell these players this season, right? We're going to be with these players, right, all season. Who do you guys think can come into this squad with these players and do something with a view to sell them next season? Like, who do you think could come in right now, work with these players, because these are the players that he's going to have, get into the squad and do something? I don't know. If you have just joined, please don't forget to like, favourite and subscribe. Double click the screen, give us a like. The more likes, the better the video does, and the more content that I can bring to you guys. Just a like, absolutely, it's completely free. To give us a like, and it really helps us out. I think the decision is made already regarding his future. It don't matter if he beats Sunderland. I think look, Shane, I think he's trying to negotiate an exit. He doesn't want to be here. Like, I know that we're all hammering out. Like, well, I'm 1 in, 1 out. But I think he's trying to negotiate an exit. I really do. Poch will leave the US now ahead of the World Cup. Exactly. Roberto Martinez. Oh my God. Roberto Martinez. Oh my God, please no. That would be horrific. Look, I've got to be honest, as long as it's not Southgate, I don't care. Mark Shoot says, hi, hello, my friend Dino. Don't want Martinez after watching how he had Belgium. Exactly. Golden Eye. Mark, I'm going to actually do a Golden Eye playthrough. So I'm going to do a live stream. I'm going to do a Golden Eye playthrough because I love that game. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a Golden Eye playthrough. Is the rumour true that an emergency meeting was held? Look, no, it's not true, Mark. It is a load of nonsense, mate. No. It's not true. I have no doubt that they've had that conversation, but Amarin, no, that is not true. Look, there's going to be so many different reports. Look, this is now the perfect time, and this is the perfect show for us to talk about all this stuff, right? So many things will come out. It's not true. It's not true at all. Just damage limitation. He's done. The club must be working in the background to get a deal done for a coach who is currently in work. Nathan, mate, nothing surprises me. You could be right. What do I think on it? I think they're giving him time, and I tell you why I think they're giving him time. Is because if they mess this up, it is Nice all over again, right? Look, something has to change. I admit that, right? Whether it's Amarin gone, these players need to go. But right now, these players are here. We need something changed, and who's going to change? The coach. Nathan, you could well be correct, but I just don't know. There is a list. This has already been confirmed out there. This is out there for some credible people that United have a list. I don't know who's on the list. There's a list, right? I don't know who's on the list, but something's going to happen. Mark Stewart said, change, I mean, so much speculation doing the rounds today. Exactly, Wayne, all the players in the world, past and present, who would be your starting 11? Okay, so Schmeichel in goal for me. I absolutely love Schmeichel. I'll go for the easy ones first, right? So I go Schmeichel in goal. I'd go Dennis Irwin as left back. I'd go Zanetti on the right. In the middle, I'd have Maldini and I'd have Irwin on the left, Zanetti on the right. I'd have Maldini and who would I have in as the other defender? It'd have to be a United defender. I'd probably have to go Vidic, and then down the middle. Oh God, defensive midfielder. I'd go with a defensive midfielder. I'd probably go with Roy Keane, and then in the middle, I'd probably go Zidane and I wouldn't say Scholesy. I probably would go Scholesy. Then I'd probably go on the right hand side. I'd probably go on the left. Who would I have on the left? Seeing now what I would do, I'd be sneaky, right? So I'd play a back four. I'd play the three in the middle, and then I'd have Messi as the second striker. I'd have Cristiano as the other striker, and then Maradona. So I'd have Maradona, Messi as the two second strikers, and then I'd have Cristiano up front. I think. I was top 100 in Ireland until this week. The crazy results kill me, mate. Yeah. We count, I thinks. What is the deal here? We count, I thinks. What is the deal here? Istanbul's. If you don't like it, see you later, mate. See you later. If you don't like it, this is a late show tonight. I'm not going to hold back. This is your opportunity to get in. As I'll always say on here, I'm not a dictator of the chat, but one of the things I do value more than anything else is respect. How people think, how people's opinions on here. If you don't like how I speak, I don't really care. This is not about you. If you want to comment on that, feel free to fuck off. Do not disrespect the chat. Everyone can have their opinion, right? There's opinions in this chat. This is why I read out the chats. It's because I respect that opinion, and people who come on here respect other people's opinion. If you're going to disrespect that opinion, you will be told fuck off, or you'll get blocked. I firmly believe he wants to end. You can see it in his face and his language. Yes, I agree. Seems like this is set up for Michael Carrick or McKenna, possibly. Daniel Rom says, United Strand has got to be going for the Guinness World Record at this rate. I agree completely. Shane, Palace back three and wing backs are so good. They don't have the squad to complete all year. I agree. McKenna or Carrick only. Oh, Jesus Christ. Frank Foley, United should buy Harry Kane. You should have got him 2 years ago. The problem with that, Frank, and again, I'm going to read your opinions tonight. This is not about my opinion. I'll comment, but the problem with Kane for me is £53 million. When we basically need a team. We look, if we had a team right? An actual functioning team, centre midfielders, a right back, I'd say yes. But there's players we need to buy before, before we buy a 33-year-old Harry Kane for 52 million, we need sort of more players. So look, if that's your opinion, mate, great, but a striker's not going to fix this. Mark Stewart, the players Wilcox brought in can play in different positions, as we discussed earlier. Frank, we should have bought Kane and Rice. Look, I agree, but we were never going to buy those two. I mean, look, he was never coming here. Like Levy was never going to sell Kane. Like I think we're under an illusion. I think we've bought into the spin, right? Declan Rice was never coming here, right? Harry Kane was never coming here. Like we can look. I think a lot of the players that we could have bought, so much spin. We were never buying Harry Kane. It was never happening. And Rice was always going to go to Arsenal. Look, that's just my opinion from what I saw at the time. I never believed that Harry Kane and Rice were going to come here. Chip play. Hi JB, hello Chip, legend of the chat. Let me know if you've got your results yet, Tulip. Thank you for clearing that up. I'm there for the Golden Fest. Yeah, I will be doing it on the channel. I'll do a live stream of that. Look, it's not going to be anything spectacular. It's not going to be on like super hard mode. It's just going to be a blast from the past. Let's get through it, and we'll do that. Nathan says, who started in goal for yours, Bienda or Belgium lad? Bienda started, and again, that's another red flag, isn't it? We get this goalkeeper who's supposedly, been tearing up trees, and he doesn't get a start. Did you play professional football yourself, Frank? I didn't. I was a county level athlete. I played Sunday League. That was about it, mate. I was very, very quick, very, very fast indeed, but just had no football brain. In terms of that sort of I never had the ability to kind of push on, but I was more of an athlete rather than a football player. Agreed, mate. So much speculation doing the rounds. Talk shit. Look, the media are driving this, aren't they? You got the media are absolutely driving this rhetoric nonsense, about you're going to hit. Look, Amarin in some respects, in terms of the media, never got a fair crack at the whip. He was never getting a fair crack at the whip ever. He just wasn't. It was always going to fail. Unless he basically, even if Amarin won the league or won a cup, he was never going to. This media and talk shit with all those. Oh my God! With all those, there are a couple of people on there actually that I do like. That do get tarred to the same brush. So I think Pennant is actually not too bad on there. But then you get O'Hara, who's just a fucking waste of lump, and then you got what's his name, the old Aston Villa guy, who's just he's so thick. I mean, I've never listened to it, so I don't listen to it that much. But Gobby, I mean, he is like talking to a lump of wood. He is just absolutely thick as shit. I mean, he is just, what a fucking waste of space. Is Kane too old now, or would he be worth looking at? Look, I think, right, Harry Kane is 33. Well, at the start of next season, he will be 33. When we signed, that like the likes of a Zlatan, he'd be perfect. But he's going to cost 50 odd million. I'm not opposed to signing that sort of player. But if we don't have a team to put him in, I'd rather spend that money elsewhere. So it's not the fact that Kane is not going to be good. He's not going to be the player that he was, but he'll still be good. We just don't have the team. It's we need to have a team first before we can even think about buying players like Kane. McKenna at Ipswich is a good manager. Look, Frank, I think that we need to do something. We need someone to steady the ship. Look, this pains me to say this. This pains me to say this, right? This season is done and dusted, right? If we can get a manager in to get us through the season, to get us 10th, right, 11th, 12th, I predicted we'd finish about between 10 and 12. In fact, I predicted that we'd get 8 points from 8. If we can just get through this season, and we're guaranteed to get rid of this shit, let's just get through the season. Like, just get somebody in that can pander to these players for now, get us through the season, because look, we're not winning a thing this season. This season, this sounds crazy, it's about getting through the season. And if we can get a coach in who can pander to these players a bit, because these players are I don't want to play as a centre midfielder. If we can get somebody just to pat Fernandez on his head and go, you're the best player in the world, you can play as a number 10 again, fine. But that's what we need right now. And then clear the shit out next season, and then maybe we go and get a Glasner then. Maybe. Who is in the leadership group? What on earth are they doing? Who's going in on the briefing? So I believe it is Mazraoui, De Ligt, Martinez, De Ligt, Dalot, Martinez, wash his chops with the goalkeeper that's still here as well. He's in it as well. Luke Shaw's not in it, but you're right. I mean, Fernandez is in it, of course. Now, what are they leading? That is a fantastic question. What exactly are they leading? It is ridiculous. I'm going to be the odd one out, but probably I say stick with him. Look, Mark. Mark. Look, I am not fully hammering out, right? I'm not hammering out, right? I am not hammering out, but I'm not hammering in. I am united in. I am what is best for this club. What's best for this club is to get rid of fucking Glazers, get rid of Ineos, get rid of these players. Now, if this coach doesn't want to be here, get rid of him. Purge the fucking whole lot. But I am what's in best interest of this club. And if the best interest of this club is hammering in, keep him in. But if Sunderland, for me, if he keeps doing what he does, and he probably will, then he has to go. He's got to, because he's too stubborn and he's putting himself ahead of this club. If he can just do some simple things for me, get Lemens in goal, for fuck's sake. Get him in goal, get rid of fucking Luke Shaw, put Bruno as a number 10, put centre midfield pivot, even go to a 3 in that middle. Even if you get rid of one of the centre backs, take out Luke Shaw and put in Casemiro, right? Go to a back 3, put a defensive midfielder in there, still have your pivot, still play the new number 10s and that one. Then he's got a chance. But he has to do something the next game. He has to. I'm Xavi every day of the week and twice on Sundays. Interesting one, Shane. I didn't like how Xavi ended the Barcelona reign. I don't know if he's good enough. I'd give him a go. I would look. I would give him a go. Right? What is the worst that could happen? But right now, I want to get through the Sunderland game, and let's see where we are. Frank, Messi, maybe. Yashin, Cafu, Maldini, Beckenbauer, Carlos, Xavi, Zidane, Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo, Pele. I like that. Ronaldinho. I was never a fan of Ronaldinho. That sounds crazy. Look, I like my footballers. Like, Ronaldinho was good. All right. No, but I just never liked him. I don't know what it was. Never liked it. I liked an R9. I liked I like the hard hitting like a Keane or a Cafu. You know, I was never a fan of all that trickery shit. Five players from the current squad you'd keep. I'd keep Shesko, Mbumo, Cunha, Delict, Yoro. Easy. George Best. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm too young for George Best. So I'd love to put in some of these old players, but there's no point in me. Like I've watched some stuff with George Best, right? But you know, I can't. I've got no skin in that game. So you know, he was a fantastic player, but you know, how good were you at your Nintendo 64? How old was I when that came out? I think I was 14 when that came out. Mate, I was a legend that game. I was an absolute legend, and I was 14 years old in my prime, in my console playing prime. I was good at that. I'm shit now, but I was good. Agreed. Loved this game, but he didn't have the longevity. How are you doing? I am doing very well, Born Face. Longevity or trophies, a bit of both, I suppose. Going back to the N64, GoldenEye and Castlevania were part of my collection back in the day. Jesus, Perfect Dark, Mark was brilliant. I used to love that. GoldenEye, of course. International Superstar Soccer. Mario 64, Mario Kart, some sort of NFL game as well. That was good. Liz says, I support City. You're welcome here, Liz. As long as you're respectful to the chat, you may enter. Absolutely no problem at all. We don't need such players. What about Ruben Neves? Think his contract is up in Jan. I'd get him in, mate. I would get him in. I really would. Look, we need a midfield players. I would get him. I would. But then how many Portuguese players do we need? The problem for me, Dino, with Neves is I don't want Fernandes to have allies. I don't want Fernandes here. Fernandes is a problem. And I don't like problems. Fernandes for me has to go. And I do not want any more Portuguese players in this fucking team. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with Portuguese players. United views gets views and likes. Everyone played West Ham tonight. Who do Monday Night Football talk about? United. Exactly, mate. Hated, adored, never ignored. Simon Jordan, he talks like he's got a spoon up his arse. I get it, because he thinks he's literally like the smartest man in the room. But he does make some good points. Like Simon, he does make some good points, but he pontificates on so many different things, and it's sometimes you just think, shut up. Cundy and O'Hara, fucking hell. Cundy is something that rhymes with Cundy as well. They are entertaining, I'll give them that, but they're entertaining because they're both thick as shit. Nob said, bruv. Simon Jordan, yeah. Simon Jordan is the biggest knob in football. I love it. That's hilarious. Dennis Usher says, Amrin has no clue. Job is too big for him. Our two most creative plays, he keeps playing our position. That's Bruno and Ahmad. I don't understand. Look, Dennis, you're making some good points, my friend. Some good points. My only comment on Bruno Fernandes is this. He's captain of this club. It doesn't matter. I admit his best position is a number 10, right? But for me, you are the captain. You will play where you are needed because the team is more important than you. And I get it's not his best position. Look, I'm not annoyed at Fernandes because he's playing in at 8 and is not his best position. I can suffer that all day long. But what I can't suffer is his petulance. He's captain of this team. Even if he was asked to play in goal, do your best. It is not the position he's playing in. Look, he's not playing in his position. It is the attitude for me that is the problem. It is not the play. It's not the position. He should be a 10, but it is his attitude. It is not that of a captain. He's petulant and he needs to go. I'm done I'm done with him. I'm done. If we sack Rubin and go back to the back four, even have the players? Exactly. My sports. I think you're right. Dorgu on the left of the back four. I'm not sure. Can Luke Shaw still go up and down? No. I'll need Delo for right back. No depth. Exactly. Look, Luke Shaw is done. I want him out of this team. I want him gone. I want him part of the next bomb squad. I want him gone. He's not a left back. He cannot get up and down the pitch anymore. 100% not. If Kane hits the Premiership next year, he'll break Shearer's record. I hope so, actually, for Kane. Like, you know, Harry Kane is one of these players that, obviously, unless you're an Arsenal fan, like, you can't really dislike Harry Kane. So I do hope he comes back. And I hope he does it. You know, he's a phenomenal player. I still think Harry Kane is a very, very underrated player. I do. Ablong Horn, O'Hara, Shevra, Brain Cell. I agree with you. Reddy says the guy in '92. This guy in '92, when it was a bad start, why do we keep Ferguson 11th, 2nd, 11th, 13th? Where are the standards? This guy in '92, when it was a bad start, why do we keep Ferguson 11th, 2nd, 11th, 13th, 6th? Where are the standards? Look, Fergie, as a fan base, I wish we'd stop talking about Fergie because it was a long gone era. It was a bygone era. And I know. But I think the problem is that we need to move on. You know, there comes a time when I know Fergie was a legend, amazing manager, but that time was gone. You know, we can't keep on referring back to the past because otherwise we don't move forward. I'll always say it's important to look back at the lessons of the past. It's really important. But to now compare managers today with Fergie, it was a different era, different game, different players, there was no VAR, you know, players could tackle. It was a different time completely. So I think we can look back to the lessons of the past because players' attitudes and their personalities have never changed and they will never change. A winner is a winner, right? But we need to move on. Kane's game has never been about pace. We can bring in goals. Agreed. Gabby is my arch enemy. Rob, Andy Goldstein every week. Andy Goldstein. He's a fucking idiot as well. He is a fucking nepo baby, isn't he? Because his dad is big time up in a media company. I mean, without his dad, he wouldn't have a job. So he's 47 goals behind Shearer. It is ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous. Let's have a look. I do agree, Dennis, this guy's too stubborn. Barca were the problem, not Xavi. They wanted Super League. He seemingly didn't and fell out. Interesting. Tony Pulis is available. Not Brett May. You absolutely cracked me out, my friend. Okay. Just out of interest, how would you feel if United went and got Big Sam or Tony Pulis? That would be amazing. Bluey Games, hi JB. I'm really late. Was on Football Manager. Just beat QPR. Look, it doesn't matter. This is the late show for a reason because it's late. Yeah. Yes, mate. Perfect Dark. I love the bit Perfect Dark. I trust that Nicholas Jackson guy isn't here. No, because he was a right wally, wasn't he? Let's just keep going. Let's have a little look. Glazers out. I agree with you. Jessru, hi. I'm Jamie. Are you new subscriber? Hello, Jamie. Hope we're doing extremely well. Dino Hughes, if a new manager does come in and takes the captain's armband off him, who do you give it to? De Ligt. Well, I'd give it to Martinez if Martinez can stay fit. So if Martinez comes back and he can stay fit, I'll give it to Martinez or De Ligt. TT says, good evening. Hello, Luke Shaw is my favourite Sunday League player. 18 watching exactly, guys. When did anyone say one season? Okay, let's get through this. We just signed Shesko. Kane is approving, but what's the point of signing Højlund, Xerxes, and Shesko? We needed midfielders, not attackers. I completely agree with you. Forget the Fergie era; it's never coming back, and United need a new look. I think we need to forget this glory era and day stuff, right? Because those dynasty years, 25 years or whatever it is, the Premier League is too competitive now. Those days have been and gone. The only way that we get back to that is if Qatar come in and buy the club. Those days are finished. Those days are gone. Unless we get a Qatar and unless we get a manager, the next evolution of a coach, it's never happening. It's not happening to anybody. Now, City, look, even City are coming to the end of their look. City have won 6 of the last 8, but even Pep will probably go within the next year or 2. So every era comes to an end, and ours has come to an end. I think all I want to be is competitive. I demand we win the league. I demand so much stuff, but it's really, really important that we figure out who we are. We know who we are. We just need to get back to being competitive again. Gar says, when is United come back to their glory days? And the board aren't saying nothing about the manager formation. Look, the moment you tell the manager what formation to play, then you might as well not get a manager. Because if you're telling a manager from the board to play a formation, that is completely wrong. Look, Amarin needs to make mistakes on his own. He's made mistakes. He's making mistakes. But look, the glory days are not coming back, right? And what I mean is, look, we will win a trophy, right? We will get back, hopefully, eventually. But it's going to take time. But those days of winning league after league after league are gone. I think that as a fan base, I think we need to just strive for getting the Glazers out. Alexa says, I think the whole world is laughing at United. I don't know about you, but in our country, Amran is being protected. I don't think he's being protected, mate. I don't think he is. Mate. He is a laughing stock, mate. He's an utter laughing stock. Now, Ineos are protecting him, in my opinion. Now, this is not my show to really give opinions tonight, but I'll sort of will anyway. Ineos are protecting him because they fucked up. That is the only reason why he's not gone right now, is because A, we're skint, and B, they can't be made to look fools. And that is basically the sad truth of it. I wonder how Rude would have done. It's so interesting, right, Mark? Because if Rude had stayed, he would have gone, right? So Amrin would have only now just come in. So I don't think Rude would have done that. Well, look, I might be wrong on this, but Rude went to Leicester, and look at what happened there. So it's interesting. The reason why I like these shows is because it's interesting to know what you guys think. It really is. We need proper wing backs. I agree. The manager keeps saying he's not changing this formation. His formation is nothing to write about. Look, I agree. It's being torn to shreds, isn't it? Notice how Amarin's system and performance completely fell apart after Lisandro Martinez's injury. De Ligt and Euro could easily look at Arsenal, City, and maybe Liverpool. Look, I agree. I think Amarin needs to take stock and swallow his pride. If Amarin went to, and again, this is going to pain me to say it, but if Amarin went to a 4-3-3, he would survive. And then he'd be able to clear out and then revert to his system. But until he starts to do that, I just don't think he will. Vivell doing a great job finding talent youngsters, but Leon and Heaven are not ready now. We need players that are ready. Look, Vivell is doing his job. And when I hear about us signing these young players right now, I think, so what? And that's really petulant of me, right? That's really downplaying it right now. And I hope these young players come good. And then when these young players do come good, and I'm like, oh, like we did a fantastic job. I get it. But if we don't have a first team and we get relegated, which we won't do, those youngsters will go. So I think it's really important for people to understand that whilst it's really good at signing these players, if we don't get this first team sorted out, the ramifications of this club are going to be unbelievable. Martinez is like training, but hasn't completed a full training session yet. Look, Martinez might be done. Look, I'm going to be consistent on this. You don't suffer the amount of injuries that he has and the type of injuries that he has, and you don't. Sorry, I put this in. We have RoboTaff. Welcome to the members club, my friend. Thank you very much. Absolute legend of the chat. Thank you so much for being a member. There will be some, look, I did have a message today. I'm not going to say who from, but what I'm going to say is that there are memberships and that kind of stuff on the channel. RoboTaff, legend, welcome to the club, my friend. And there will be some membership stuff that I will start to do. But the promise that I will always stick to is that the 99% of the stuff on here is going to be free. Right? But eventually there will be members. I mean, these shows will always be free, but there will be some members stuff that I will do. And there is memberships and super chats and all that kind of stuff, but there is no obligation at all to do any of that sort of stuff. But RoboTaff, legend, absolute legend. Welcome to the club, my friend. JB, I disagree. Cool. Let's do this. JB, I disagree. Leicester and United are completely opposites. Rude would have gotten us mid-table and probably won us the final. I'm sorry for him. He was way more comfortable. Look, again, my friend. Tonight, this is not about my opinion. Really, I'll give you my opinion. I'm not coming back at you guys tonight on this one because this is your show. It's a really interesting opinion on it. It really is because as you say, right, there are certain managers who know a club, right, and what works at Leicester is not going to work at United because we're a bigger club and the standards are higher. You're right. Who's to say? Like I think that if Ten Hag had have got to that final, he would have won the final. So I'm not calling that opinion out. As I say, this is your show tonight. You get your opinions in, and I think that's a really interesting opinion to have. I really do. I think it really is. It's a real interesting opinion to have. It would have been interesting to see how that would have panned out. But yeah, it's actually funny how everyone was criticising Eric. Eric was fired off October. Amrin fell to 50th place in half season. He should have been fired at the end of last season. Alexi, I think it's a difficult one. I'll tell you where I'm at on that one. Is it wasn't his team. I am the one thing I'm going to defend Amrin on, and you can tell me I'm crazy, right? This is my view on it, right? How can you sack a manager that wasn't his team? Right, so that last season that wasn't his team, right? Ineos brought in a manager who played completely different style of football from what we've ever played before. And RoboTaff as well, my friend. Thank you. And super chatted. Great channel, mate, from a fellow Welshman, in the realms of realism, what would you do to change things and make us better? Rob Taff, absolute legend from a fellow Welsh person, even though I don't sound Welsh. I am a Welshman through and through. My whole family are Welsh. I can trace it all back. So, legend, thank you, my friend. What do I think? What would I do? Okay, so let's just go through this, right? Rob Taff is this, right? Realistically, I want to get rid of the Glazers and I want to get rid of Ineos, but that is not going to happen, right? So in the short term, what would I do? Realistically, I'd say to Amron, look, go to a 4-3-3. Let's play to these players' strengths, right? Let's go to a back four. The problem is, do we have left backs now? No, we don't. But I'd go to a back four. I would back four, defensive midfielder, 2 CMs. Bruno in fact, Bruno Fernandes for me can go. And Burmo, Cunha, Shesko up front. But I'd have it's so difficult, right? But I would consolidate. Or if Amron isn't going to change, then we need to change. So I'd probably look. I would go. I would take my time about it. I think, as one of you guys have said on here, look, do we go for an interim? Xavi is out there. Xavi is out there. You know, Ollie's been mentioned. Look, I'm not the biggest fan. You know, McKenna. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of this, right? But the next, if and when Amron gets sacked, we need to get this next one right. So I think I wouldn't want to go to survival football, but do you know what I'd do? Right? What I would do is this. I'd give the fans what they want, right? Because if the fans are happier, the social media is happier, the club is a happier place, and these players get happy. Sometimes you've got to appease the fans. So I would get Fernandes out of this team, but many people like him. So what I would do is I'd go to a 4-3-3. I'd go for a 4-3-3, unleash Ahmad, Shesko up front. I would make the fans happy, because happy fans is, they go to the ground. These players then respond to that as well. I would absolutely, I'd go to a 4-3-3 and just play these players in their positions. Go tell them to enjoy themselves, because at the end of the season, I'd fuck them all off. But I would just go, look, guys, just go and play your game, have fun out there, and appease the fans, basically. I think that is what I'd do. Let me go through these chats. Where are we? No one in the Premier League will achieve anything with a 3-man defence. That's been proved, isn't it? It's been proved. I will be honest. The tactics are exposing the weakness rather than putting out strength of the team. Bruno as a CM is not tracking. The man Maguire is exposed. And again, I think Amorim is sabotaging his team. I don't know if it's on purpose. I don't know what it is he's trying to do. I think when a manager does whatever we think of Amorim is not stupid, right? He's a very intelligent guy, which makes it worse. He's doing it on purpose. I think he wants to say, I do. Watch this shit put up with a 10 out of 10 performance against Sunderland and get thrashed to Liverpool. Look, I predicted 8 from 8, right? If he gets thrashed at Liverpool and he's still here, mate, the fan base will not put up with that, right? He's gone. He'll be forced to. Digsby Dinner says up the Arsenal. Isn't up the. Should do some fans cams and match. Look, mate. I want to do so many things on this channel, right? But whilst we're still small, and I have a job, I look, my absolute dream would be to do that sort of stuff, right? Would be to do fan cams, but do a fan cam in the right way. I also would love to go on on the tour next season. Like, there's so many things I've got planned, but of course I need the channel to do well, and the only way for that to do well is, for people to watch the show, to like, obviously there's memberships, that kind of stuff on there, but the basic core of the channel is the more people that like it, the more views that we get, the closer I get to be able to bring more content. I'll be able to do some amazing stuff on here. We just need views. We just need the views. We just need the likes. That's all we need are views and likes. They're both free. And that really pushes this channel out there. It just means that the algorithm shows this to more people, and the more people that we get, the more interactions, and I can do some amazing stuff on here, guys. I've got a plan. I do have a plan. The wing-backs are involved in attacking output, and when it's one of the weaknesses of United, I feel Bruno is one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. It's just the defensive work is not good enough. Look, for me, Bruno is no. I mean, look, I'm not disrespecting that opinion at all. I've got my opinion on Fernandes. I think Fernandes is a talking point in himself. I find him petulant. He's not a captain. I would say take the captaincy off him and let him do what he does best. But the problem with him now is that he's too interwoven into the fabric of this club, and it's all about Fernandes. Digsby's Dinner says, wipe your hands, wipe your face, wipe your... Wayne says, it's not just replacing the manager, it's quite a few players that have to go and be replaced. This time you have the right manager in place. I agree with you, Wayne. Wayne is a legend in here, and Wayne always speaks sense. I agree with you, my friend. I agree. Walk says, give it Giggsy until the end of the season. Look, Walks, as long as they lock up their wives, then of course. But let Keane have it. Look. The problem is, right. One of the interesting things I think is, Keane and Giggsy come from an era where they clean people's boots, right? These players have no idea. Rob Taff. Oh yeah, I was going to say Wales at the World Cup. Let's hope, Rob Taff, that Wales get to the World Cup. I mean, it would be immense. Absolutely loved the Euros as well. So Rob Taff, if Wales get to the World Cup, I'll be putting all of the Welsh games on here. So feel free for that one. Alexi says, so Bruno can leave. It's funny they're saying the same thing on Russian social network, and I call them sectarian, selling the best player. If my finger hurts, I'll cut off my hand. That's what we say. Interesting, Alexi. I do not doubt that Fernandes is a decent player, and there are many people that support him. Right, I respect that opinion. I do. Bruno, for me, is a stat padder. Right, I've watched him I've watched him over the last 2 years so many times. Bruno Fernandes hasn't played well for 2 years. He's a stat padder. He hasn't played well at all, and I'm not saying that he's not a good player. I don't like him. What I've seen this season, he's the captain of this football club, and he's let us down. He's absolutely let us down so many times, and it's, when someone comes and offers you £100 million for a player that hasn't been playing particularly well, and gives you an opportunity to, because Bruno is part of this. Alexi, Bruno, in my opinion, he was part of that side that finished 15th last season. Unforgivable. And then this season he's continued it as well. So for me, Alexi, we've got rid of better players than him. We got rid of Jap Stam. We got rid of Mark Hughes. We got rid of Kanchelskis, right? Kanchelskis, when we got rid of him, was an he was flying. He was an amazing player. We got rid of him. We got rid of Ince to Inter. We got rid of Beckham. We got rid of Ruud van Nistelrooy. We got rid of Keane. I know Keane was coming to the end, but we got rid of Keane. Look, we got rid of so many players that I'm not worried about Bruno Fernandes. This is what I wish, and I don't know how old you are, right? But this fan base being shit scared of getting rid of one player, it shows how far we've fallen, right? This club, there's no player bigger than this club. No player bigger than this club. I'd get rid of Fernandes tomorrow. I'm not worried about it. We have had bigger and better players leave than him. I'm not bothered. If Bruno is in his free attacking role, he's one of the best. Let him do his attacking work rather than putting him for defence. Selling him is not a good decision. The decision is wrong. Respect that opinion, my friend. I don't share that, but I get it. I really, really do get it. Gigsy's dinner. If Amrin gets sacked, I hope you get Giggsy. Glasgow at Palace are doing well with 3 at the back. Rob Taffy is. He really is. Jim ain't sacking him till 1 year is gone. The difference. I know. I heard that as well. As it is. I mean, look. If that's true, which I guess it is ridiculousness, isn't it? It really is. It really is. I like the channel. Makes me feel better about life. Digsby Dinner, look. If that's what we can do, if we can help you in any way, shape or form, my friend. Look, I am realistic on here, right? I don't shy away from questions. We don't just talk about football. We can talk about running shoes. We can talk about Nintendo 64. We can talk about the meaning of life. This show tonight is your show. This show is about bringing things in. We get so many different supporters on here as well. Happy to talk about that. It depresses me hearing how Arsenal are doing it, Liverpool are doing. But it's all fun. It's all fun and games. What have I missed, Scott? You've missed Rob Taff becoming a member, absolute legend, a fellow Welshman supporting the Welshies. I love it completely. We are spitballing tonight, Scott, so feel free to get in there, my friend. If we lose to Sunderland and Liverpool, he still isn't getting sacked. We will know what Ineos' plan is, and they'll give him to the season. Dino, interesting one, mate. Look, Ineos are pretty thick, right? They are clueless. I don't think they'll give him to the end of the season. Look, I think this is all about money. I think it is. Look, if Amrin can stay till the end of the season, look, if Ineos are planning on backing him, I admire it, right? I really do. Look, I am part Amrin. Look, I'm not. It's hard to describe where I'm at now, right? I don't really want to sack another manager, but Amrin can't continue. I'm not Amrin in or out. I am United in. I want the best for this club. So I'm in a difficult position whereby I'm not Amrin in, I'm not Amrin out. I am what's best for this club. And if it means that Amrin has to leave, great. If it means that these players will respond to Amrin and Amrin gets to the end of the season and they're going to buy into him and give him more players and he improves, fantastic. But something has to change, doesn't it? Even John Terry got in the Hall of Fame. Giggsy and Shearer were meant to be the first two. Look, I did a video on that about Giggsy. I think it's a travesty. Giggsy got acquitted. Look, whatever you think about Giggsy, you've got Terry who slept with a teammate's wife, or with Wayne Bridges' other half. Stevie G, there's allegations about him as well, about some really bad stuff. Wenger had an affair. I mean, look. Rooney. I mean, let's talk about Rooney for a second. And Giggsy doesn't get in at all. Look, I think it's a travesty. I think it's disgusting. Matu says, hi, hello, my friend. Digsby says, why would you hope the Welsh get to the World Cup? Digsby, because I'm Welsh. because I'm Welsh. That's why I want them to get to the World Cup, because I'm Welsh. That's why. Because yeah, I love Wales, so I want them to get to the World Cup. Bellamy has all the players, is in the system, passing, attacking. He has a week at a time with the players. Exactly. The old players under Ferguson were icons compared to this. Wayne, amazing point. As always, my friend, they were icons, and that is the difference, is that they were winners. Alvin says exactly, he's the captain, but he's performed poorly. Maguire is slow and immobile, but as a great box defender. No, he is. He should only be playing in that position. Why aren't we playing? Why are we playing a high line against the team with do go direct and pace? Because Amrin knows what he's doing, and Amrin is playing the game. Jap Stam was different class. Digsby's dinner, he was my friend. Jap Stam was quality, absolute legend. With the players we have now, we should have cashed in. I agree. At the end of the day, Champers. Oh, come on, Scott. At the end of the day, Champers. Ruben. I know that we're going to beat Ruben, but we can't sack you now, Ruben, because it's going to cost me money, Ruben. So, Champers, Ruben, Champers. Could you imagine if they gave it to Keane? Would be a nightmare for the owners, players, and HR department. At least the players wouldn't get away with it. I love it. I've said it a few times. The ones that started in the 7-0 drubbing by Liverpool should not be starting. Look, mate, I agree with you. Luke Shaw, Casemiro, Bruno, Delo, agree with you. Is sacking him not just kicking a stone further down the road? Alvin, mate, welcome to the show, mate. But you are, mate. You're right. Look, you're right. You are 100% right. Things always sort themselves out. They do. Alexi, yes, the players used to be cool, but I don't see Scholes or Giggs in Amarin's roster. If they were, I'd agree. Bruno should be so. Yes, the players used to be cool, but I don't see Scholes and Giggs in Amarin's roster. If they were, I'd agree, but Bruno should be sold. Look, Bruno needs to be sold for many reasons. It's not just ability, right? So sometimes you sell players. Look, and I'm going to go back to the past for a second, right? Ferguson never sold players because of the ability that they had. He sold them because he saw they weren't good for the team anymore. David Beckham is the prime example, right? Ability in his prime, he went. So it's not about ability, it's about what is the impact on this team. Roy Keane left because he had an impact on the team. Kanchelskis left because there were better players coming through, and Kanchelskis no longer fitted the system. Paul Ince went because Paul Ince was a problem. You don't sell players always. You don't sell them because they're great players. Sometimes you sell them because their attitude's wrong, and that's why Fernandes has to go. In my opinion, I think you're saying, mate, I'm just messing. Look, Digsby, legend, mate. I banter is welcome here, my friend. Absolutely no issue whatsoever. We shag them and you eat them. I love them. Don't want another 7-up with Liverpool. Oh, Wayne, don't even remind me of that. Horrendous. I would keep Bruno. I would tell Amrin to change his tactics. Back 3 isn't working. He's lost 17 out of 33. The most ever by United manager tactics. So, look, I don't disagree. Look, I think what's interesting is that we've all got our opinions on this, but I do think the collective opinion is Amrin has to change something. He's got to change our formation. He's got to change plays around. And if Bruno does have to play, which he will do, he's got to be a number 10. I thought you were British, mate. I am British. Oh, I love it. Watch Giggs live against Italy. Closed roof. Giggsy, manager, electric, beat them 2-1. Sutton, Davis, Bellamy. So I remember, Rob Taft, do you remember the 94 World Cup qualifying round? And we played Romania and we lost to a late goal. And that's why we didn't get to the 94 World Cup, and we had Ian Rush, we had Giggsy in there, we had Barry Horn in there as well, Southall in goal. I mean, we had so many good players back then. South Wales is a lovely part of Wales. I'm from Swansea, so I am a South Walian. My family's from Scotland and Wales. Legend places, absolute quality places. Rob Taft, you should tell all of the Welsh people to come on here and watch this channel. Absolutely. Swansea is pretty crap. Look, there's one nice part of Swansea, which is by the coast. Anything else, as Rob Taft says, is a little bit crap. Starting Luke Shaw for me for some reason. I have no idea why. Bruno is a player on the slide. Too much influence. I agree with you. I am Moroccan. Welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing extremely well. Andy Cole, exceptional player. I love the bit of Andy Cole. Brilliant player. Sick of Bruno. Where's the leadership keynote? I agree with you. Dill says, who would you replace him with? Amarin. Luis Enrique would be my choice. Eddie Howe would be my choice, but there's just no chance of that. It's weird. I've noticed lately the teams in the PL and elsewhere are playing a lot of midfielders because that is the way that people play football. Other than us, they pack. Look, games are won and lost in the midfield. That's a fact. It is. Bruno needs to be dropped. His hunger has gone out the window. Damon, I agree completely, my friend. Welsh are the original Brits before English turned up. Rob Taft, I always say that. Agree with you completely. Agreed. Next 3 games: Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton. Right. So, Dina, I predicted 8 points from 8. I predicted 8 points from the first games. Right. Sunderland, we'd need 3 points. Liverpool, no chance. Brighton, draw. So if he can get 4 from the next 9, then he might get time. Southgate is the only option. Really, look, it's going to be Southgate. It is going to be Southgate. The Mumbles and Gower, yes, Rob Taff. The Mumbles is amazing place. Gower is good as well. Yeah, those 2 places are the best. The Hesse boys is Sunderland. Sunderland, welcome. You've got a good chance of giving us a spanking, mate. Got to score at least 4 goals in the next 4 games. A roll of best of what is available. Interesting opinion there. Like why Luke Shaw is getting a start. Look, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Luke Shaw is done, mate. Luke Shaw is a pile of. He's done, mate. Sunderland might be the best. Sunderland might best the piss out of United, probably. Great movie. Rob Taft. Now you're taking me back. Love a bit of Twin Town. Brilliant, amazing film. Christian Ozoko, a player Man United were targeting in the transfer window. He could have worked with the midfield system. Mate, look, I would try it. Look, right now, there's no point in me saying, these young players, Kone, for example. Stick Kone in. I mean, I'm not a big fan of burning these young players out, but just stick him in. I mean, look, what is the worst that could happen? Collier went. I in pre-season, I initially criticised him. I didn't really think that he did that great of a job. I'd love him now. I look. The next game for me is going to be pivotal, right? For me personally, right? If Amarin plays the same team, I'm Amarin out because I can't continue with a manager who's purposefully sabotaging this team. So Sunderland for me, where I'm at on that is if he plays the same team, Luke Shaw's playing, Bruno is number 8. I'm done. I am done. Logan, we are staying up, and we say staying up. not United in a few years. I joked. Yeah, look, mate, the fact that we're even talking about staying up is it's sad, isn't it? I mean, it just goes to show how far we've fallen when I'm talking about staying up. It is, you're right, it is crazy. Would you not take Xavi? I would. Look, I'd take him. Look, if he goes, it's going to be Southgate. But what we've got to do as a fan base, right, is that if Amorim goes, we've got to be vocal on X and socials and whatever else, because we cannot have Gareth Southgate at this club. It's going to happen. Sunderland have bought some cracking players. Is this the season that all three promoted clubs stay up? Rob Taff, that's a very, very, very astute point. It could well be, mate. It could well be. It could well be. And who are going to be the teams that will go down? Leeds might. Dino, if we are really honest with ourselves, the starting 11 we put out against Sunderland would be the same team as subs. Look, Dino, it is, mate. Look, it's really important for me the next game. If Amorim decides to not change it again, I'm done with him. I've given him so many chances. I've stuck with him. I wanted him to change things. These players don't get away with it scot-free. I can't stand these players, but we can't sack players. I would, but we can't. So he does have to go. Sending Mason Mount on as left wing back, I agree. It is one of the most fucking bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. He owns control of the purse strings. Yes, they do. Do you think at this point Amorim is just trying to prove a point instead of changing? Look, whatever he's doing is wrong, isn't it? I think he's stubborn. I think he's trying to prove a point. But this is what I was saying before. The reason why I would be Amorim out is if he starts putting his own agenda before what's best for the club, then he has to go. And that's a fantastic point. I think he is, mate. I really, really do. Amorim is a good manager, but he's applying the same tactics for every game. It's true. That's just not every team. It's like 200 best possible outcomes for. Look, I agree completely. You know, he can't adapt. Look, we need to realise as well, Amorim is only 40 years old. In 5 years' time, we'll be a completely different coach. Like Amorim is at his depth. I think this job has come too early for him. I do. He's clearly Amorim for me is clearly not mature enough to take this job. The fact that he's not able to probably take criticism, he's not able to be led by his coaches, he's not able to you can have your principles and style of play, but if you can't see beyond that, it's a very, very immature kind of place to be. I think he's too immature and too early on the journey for this club. I do. Amorim playing these players like Maguire, Shaw to prove a point. Rob Taff, yeah, I do. Lion says, I miss Marcus Rashford, and no, I do not miss Marcus Rashford. You don't want Southgate. Oh, mate. Southgate is not for me. Absolutely not. Yeah, guys, hit the like, subscribe. It's absolutely free. Cost you zero. That's not like a Portuguese manager. Dino says, good point. Seems you're just trying to get a run of wins and then turn the media and say, I told you so. It's not the system. Look, it's probably one of the worst. Isaac says, okay, I'm 20 and single from Leeds. Can I ask a question? Go on. This show tonight is a late night show. It's not just about football. We can bring in whatever questions you like. You can ask me questions about my Nintendo. You can ask me questions about anything you like tonight. We've spoken an hour and a half about football. We can move around. Probably got about another 10 minutes or so left of the show. Feel free to get in your comments about stuff, guys. let me know as well what you want to see for the future of the channel as well. Let me know some of the things that you want me to talk about. But Isaac, the floor is yours. 20 years old, single from Leeds. Can I ask a question? Ask a question, my friend. And you're being very polite, Isaac. I like how polite you're being as well, my friend. So the floor is yours. I'm waiting for a question. Isaac, I was in Leeds last week, by the way. I was in Leeds. So I'm waiting for Isaac. I'm waiting for him to Damon says, what's the difference? What difference will Southgate be able to make than Advantage Civic? Damon, he won't, mate. I don't want him here. Southgate will be a politician. He would be only here because he wants to be a yes man to Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And again, he wants it on his CV, doesn't he? Do Amarin struggles show that United is simply unmanageable right now, regardless of who the coach is? I think you're spot on. I think you were spot on. Right. Here we go. Right. Excellent. Okay, cool. So this is a question obviously aimed at me, right? I'm doing a survey at university on the correlation between testosterone levels and androgenic alopecia. Basically, it's an age-old question. How often is it healthy for a man to... I'm guessing, Isaac, what you're trying to basically say. Engage in sexual activities per week. Most married men tell me 3 times per week. Most married men tell me 5 times. Engage in sexual activities per week. So, Isaac, are we talking about any activities, or are we talking about actual doing stuff with another person? Are we talking about like single actions? Because there's a difference. Do you know what? This is heated. Isaac, you've come in here, my friend, with a left-fielded questions. Mate, he said, I think I had you thinking right there, mate. Not clean. Most single men, sorry, that includes Isaac, mate. I love it. Isaac is just coming here with an amazing question. Look. All I'm going to say is I think single men probably have a lot more time on their hands. I mean, I basically work full time. I do this. I then pick up the kids. I then make dinner, put the kids to bed, watch a bit of TV, come in here. I literally have no time. And I'm guessing the problem is, Isaac, you are not going to get on here and get people to admit that they basically like have a Tommy tank like 6 times a day. I mean, absolutely not. I mean, I don't know, mate. That's probably one for a survey, I think. I mean, you're not going to get anybody on here admitting that they have one of them 3 times a week, mate. John Lee says hi. It's horses for courses. Damon, I agree with it. Came on for glory. I'm a boxer about to turn pro on a practice. Okay. Isaac, legendary. Isaac, mate, welcome to the chat, my friend. Interesting one, Isaac. Look, I don't share your, but again, as a boxer, mate, athlete, you guys are athletes. Isaac, what's your weight? Are you like a heavyweight, lightweight, middleweight, bantamweight, flyweight? I mean, sex doesn't make your hair fall out. No, it's true. Age does. Age and hereditary stuff. Look, the fact I'm 42, I've got some hair left. The rest of my family do not. It is a miracle. The new Socrates. I'm a single guy, don't have a nice woman. I think Lucky's telling you everything that you need to know there. I'm new here. What's the topic? Johnny, look, this is a United channel, right? And tonight is a normally football chat. Look, the main topic is United, Amarin, the Glazers tonight. But this is more of a late show tonight. And Isaac, mate. Isaac has just come in with an amazing topic. Isaac, brilliant, my friend. So just read through the chat. Isaac is now talking about having a Tommy tank, and if you don't know what that is, think of a word that a man can do that rhymes with tank. That's all I'm saying. You'd be surprised how many people are very open about it. Trust me, you're very open. Trust me, are very open. Look, mate, I don't disagree with you, mate. But I'm not one of those people, mate. I'm afraid. Look, all I'm going to say is a very natural thing to do. So to all you young men out there, or men of a certain age, look, I'm 42 years old. I'm tired most days and nights. There's absolutely zero chance. But to all you young men, you young bucks, it's absolutely natural. Don't feel bad about it. It's not true that you'll get hairy palms and you'll go blind. It is not true. Guys, have at it. The correlation between them is what works for men. I'm as good as the man right next to me. I love some foreign women. I'm a lightweight going up to. I'm a lot heavyweight going up to. Isaac, good luck, my friend. Isaac, good luck. I genuinely mean that. Like boxing, I absolutely love the sport. I actually respect the sport as well. So Isaac, mate, good luck, my friend. Absolutely brilliant. Way before and after, I agree. Boz this last Turkish. Hello, my friend. What's your amateur record? I'm a former owner of Ring News 24, covered by many pro fights from Ring. So I love boxing. I absolutely love boxing. It's just, as a sport, I absolutely admire the ferocity. I admire the danger. I admire the athleticism, the tactics. Absolutely brilliant. After busting a few, Isaac, you are stealing this tonight, mate. Stealing it, bro. Single-handedly changed the trajectory of the stream. Look, Isaac is a legend. Absolute Isaac, mate. You are brilliant. What did I walk into, Rover, mate? You just walked into Isaac stealing my show. Absolutely. Look, Isaac is just absolutely look. He's stealing the show. Do you consider watching is a form of? I don't know. Again, Isaac, you've put in a really good question. I think it depends, really. I mean, look, if you're obsessed by one particular type of star, possibly, but not really. I mean, look, I can't imagine it's nice if you walk in on your other half or whatever, doing that over another person. But I don't know. I do. What I will say, I do think though that it does. Like, as a man, right? So I'm very much about men's mental health, men's health. I do think that too much of it does impact young men's view. My only observation on it is that I do think it skews young men's view of real life. I mean, when I was a kid, so when I was a teenager, you literally had to go to a shop, or you had to basically go and get your friend to go and steal his dad's magazines, and you'd go and find a cache, and you'd hide them in a cache, and then you'd go and all look at them together. Obviously, you wouldn't, do that together, but you basically have to go to a shop and buy them, or you'd have to find a tape. It's a very, very different world. For our side, tablet is, it is. Ban this Turkish. If you keep, I mean, I don't really know what he's doing, but here you go, he's gone. Rob Taft, the Marvin Hagler silk pajamas quote is, "It's tough to get out of bed to do roadwork at 5 a.m. when you're sleeping in silk pajamas." No, it is, mate. It is. I think. I remember they asked a question to who's that like, is it not Russian, but who's that UFC guy? I think they said to him, "Do you?" No, it wasn't. It was. It was. I can't think. And they basically said to him, "Do you like to train?" And he said, "No." He said, "I hate training." He said, "But I get up because I have to." Like he said, nobody likes to train, which is true. But that's the whole point that makes you world class. The difference between world class people and people who do better in life are the ones who just get up and do it. I mean, I am by no means that sort of person. I'm more of a like halfway house. But those people who basically want to get on in life are the ones that wake up. You know, the ones that are up at 4:30, the ones that go the extra mile. Those are the ones, and this is why boxing for me fascinates me. Damon says, "Do you think that a change of owners will bring about a change on the field?" Yes, I do, Damon. I really, really do. What's your name or Instagram? Rob Taff, yeah, give him up. Isaac, I love it. I love it. FIFA, please ban United. Why, Ollie? Why? David, yo, my friend. I used to play ice hockey. Wow. That's cool. Again, ice hockey as a sport has always fascinated me. But boxing is a sport where if you keep losing, your money goes down. Luke Shaw would still be getting paid. Imagine that. I'm a dancer. I'm a dancer in the ring. Isaac. I love it, Isaac. Isaac have a PhD in gooning. Field hockey. That's for girls. I love it. I don't watch it because it goes against my. Fair enough. Iron Mike, legend. Yes, he is. Bruno in boxing. All he would do is throw a strop and tell the ref to tell him to stop hitting me. I love it. Ollie Post started on my website. Hope that's GoldenEye in the console. Hang on. It's not. It's FIFA. It's FIFA 98. Give me a second. Can't find it now, but I definitely have it. So I am going to do a watch along stream playing that. So yeah, Khabib, that's it. Khabib, Conor McPecker, Dirty Mag, want one? Would you like one, Rodney? Wayne, I love that. Brilliant. I love it. Exactly right. It's always the top shelf stuff. Was always yeah. A female athlete won a medal. She was asked, "Are you tired?" She said, "My husband will relieve the stress for me at night." I mean, Vinny X, come straight in, sack Amarin now, sack him. What's everyone's thought on FC 26? Dino, I'm crap at FC 26. I'm probably the worst player. I might do a stream on that where you guys can come and kick my ass on it because I'm absolutely crap. Look, if you guys want to make yourselves feel better, play me at FIFA because you'll absolutely smash me. Did anyone ever play Sensible Soccer? Rob Taff, mate, I played Sensible Soccer, Kickoff. Brilliant games, absolute amazing games. I'm with you on that one. So GoldenEye, I had a go a few weeks ago. Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna play that again. I'm gonna do a stream on that because I think it's a look. What surprised me about that game again is how shit it is now. But at the time, have you watched Muhammad Ali fight? Yes, I have. I've watched many of his fights. Absolutely brilliant. So Joe Fraser, I think Joe Fraser is brilliant as well. I mean, there's so many amazing fighters from. I mean, I think probably. I mean, I don't go back as far as like the 70s, but you know, I think for me, heavyweights of the 80s, early 90s. You know, I quite like the middleweight scene, the UK middleweight scene of the 90s. You had like Eubank Ben. Who else did you have? Eubank Ben. You had Collins, but obviously he was Irish. Calzaghe came through as well. Calzaghe, I love Calzaghe. Can't beat finding exactly, Rover, exactly. It's like all your dreams are made when you walk past a bush and somebody's just chucked a magazine in there. FC 26 is the same game, just a bit improved graphics. New shirtless celebration. I would have bought if the women could do shirtless as well. FIFA Mobile. Zigmo says, have you ever been to Manchester Glory support? Oh, that's a bit mean, isn't it? Have you ever been to Manchester Glory support, rat? Oh, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? Kick off, full wind on plastic. Exactly. New Bond game looks good. It does. Do you take your glasses off when you do? Isaac, yes, mate, I do. I do, mate, I do. Because I don't need to see, mate. You know, I'm so experienced, Isaac. I know where all of the parts are, mate. I do not need my glasses. Yes, I do. They come straight off, my friend. Isaac, you were cracking me up. Hang on. Zigamore says, rat man mank talking SHRT. I'm not a mank. Not that I'd be ashamed to be a Mancunian either. You know, I know some amazing Mancunians, some Liverpudlians who come on this channel as well. Yeah, McGuigan. Oh, I love a bit of him as well. Isaac, no mate. Isaac, you are cracking me up, my friend. Lennox Lewis, saw him live in Cardiff against Frankie Bruno. Amazing. FC 26, yeah, I agree. You don't need to see because it doesn't turn you on anymore. Isaac is cracking me up. Isaac, mate, you're cracking me up, mate. Mate, I love it. Yeah, Ricky Hatton, legend. Nazim was one of these irritating gits, but he was good. I had Nazim boxing on the PlayStation 1 as well. That was good. That was awesome. What we got? Zegmos Slot. Honestly, AJ or Fury. I mean, simple, really. I only guy throwing a corkscrew uppercut at the time. Exactly. Interesting, Isaac. Interesting. Which and again, it's interesting from Isaac because Isaac is a boxer as well. Emmy's snuck into the chat. Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I mean, did anybody see Parker beat old what's his chops as well? You know, I think the heavyweight division now is I just don't think it's great. I mean, Parker beat Wilder, didn't he? I mean, it wasn't the best of fights. Yeah, Scott, who's bad mouthing the Manx? His name is Zegamush Slot. He's called Scott. He's just called me a mank rat. And as I've said, I'm not mank, but I know some amazing Mancunians. You know. Yeah, nobody like the greatest. Lennox, Calzaghe, Hatton, Ben, Eubank, Bruno. I mean, yeah, I mean, you could even go back and, you know, there's so many amazing boxers out there. Yeah, this era is just not great, is it? I mean, this is yeah, I mean this. It almost seems to me, and you can correct me here, is that the era of, I don't know, like greats, like football greats now, like boxing greats, like athletes. You know, I'm a massive fan of the like sprinting and like 100 meters, 400 meters. You know, there doesn't seem to be any sort of. I'm from Essex, my friend. I'm from Essex. Yeah, that's me. I'm originally from Wales, but you know, I got forced into England. Um, Scott, I love it. I love it, Scott. I love it. I love it. Football greats like Blackburn Rovers. Look, Rover. I remember that season really well when you guys, Rover. When I used to collect sticker books, so you know when you used to get your stickers, the Blackburn badge as a shiny was I loved that badge. I remember that season: Sutton, Shearer, Ripley, Batty, Wilcox, Flowers and goal, Colin Hendry, Lasso. I mean, that was an amazing team. What a team that was! Amazing. Boxing back on BBC Two live next month. Frank Warren not happy because he's got Parker versus Wardley, but changing PPV and joke undercard. That'd be cool. That would be cool. I absolutely love it. I mean, yeah. Frank Warren, he's got Parker and Wardley. I mean, Parker seems to be sort of keeping in there, doesn't he? I mean, I never thought Parker would last as long as he has. I'm from my, I love it. Isaac Southerner, I am. But I did go to Leeds last week. I do quite like Leeds. Who would win in a fight, JB, North or South? Look, who do I look? I think the North would win. Look, whatever people say, all right. I think the North would absolutely win because look, I've been to the North multiple times. It's fucking freezing up north. And you lot all seem to be like hard as fuck. So I genuinely believe that the North would beat the South. I don't even think it'd be a contest. I don't even think it'd be a contest at all. I've seen Newcastle fans in the freezing cold with their man boobs out. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean that alone is enough to scare. And I think there's more people up north as well, right? So yeah, I think North would win. Panini 94 exactly. Panini stickers. Used to love them. Absolute love them. Good times, mate. I'm glad we're not Rover. Look, mate. Never forget those times. That was the best Premier League era. Absolutely brilliant. Are you in the UK? I am. Did your family arrive? Tyson or Lewis? Oh, Damon. That's an interesting one. I don't know, mate. Look for sheer power and for sheer entertainment, Tyson. But I think Lewis was the better boxer. We used to collect stickers. JB now collects shiny. Look, Emmy, it's true. It's true, mate. It is true. I do. But they're not shiny. They are dirty and covered in mud. Strong in the arm, thick in the head. Look, Rover, Northerners, mate. I love you. I love you guys. I've spent loads of time up in Manchester, up in Leeds. Yeah, I lived in Aberdeen for a while. Look, Northerners, mate. I love you all. You are amazing. Best mates with everyone. Never run from a fight. Stick up for it. Is, and this is what I love the North. Right? Is that nobody stabs each other in the back. What you see is what you get. Mate, the North is brilliant. Typical Geordie behaviour. I think Southerners are more intelligent than Northerners. Interesting take. You Northern monkeys and you Southern fairies wouldn't last against us in the middle. I love it in me. I love it, mate. I love it. I love it. It's 0:12 on a school night. I'm past your bedtime to go to sleep. It is, mate. I am going to go to sleep in a minute. I'm English taff. How many sheep have it? I love it. I love it. Your mum can't even spell Ian correctly. Tell her to go back to school. Your history then, Anglo-Saxon, German. Exactly. Me and Rob Taff are the true patrons of this country. So guys, I am going to go. What an amazing show tonight. These shows are my favourites. We talk about stuff, but you know, okay, time to hand over your bank details, Essex boy. I love it. Isaac, mate, absolutely brilliant. Still thinks he's British. I love it. Isaac, mate, you are welcome back here anytime, my friend. Let us know how you get on in your fights. Let us know how you get on, mate. Absolute legend. I thank you for being here, my friend. Absolutely legend. Ian is the original Scottish spelling of the name, not bastard yet. Guys, as I always say on these shows, one thing in life: you cannot buy time, you cannot buy health. Guys, thank you for being here. And this channel, this show is nothing without you guys. Absolutely is nothing at all. You guys are brilliant, and it doesn't matter if you support this club. Doesn't matter where you're from. We're all respectful in this chat, and you guys are amazing. It still astounds me that you people come back on here, give me time, give each other time, and yeah, I absolutely love these shows. So hopefully we'll grow. Tell your family, your friends, spread it out. The more people that we get on here, the more things that I can do, the bigger this goes. Rob Taff, legend, and thank you to Rob Taff tonight for becoming a legend. Exactly, me. I'm not going to be fighting any sheep or bears tonight. I promise you that. So guys, have a good one. Have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. I will see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys, and good night. See you tomorrow.